We can offer you something at, say, 11.5% over 30 years, but you will have to buy insurance to qualify for this scheme.
Or if you prefer something more specific, say against electrical charges over 75.
Plead guilty. It's easier, quicker, and cheaper.
In the creative industry, there will always be an underlying tension between art and capital, and it was demonstrated no more explosively than in the production of Terry Gilliam's Brazil. You've heard of auteur theory, right? Of course you have. For the very few of you who haven't, however, the term posits that the primary creative force of any given film is the director, as opposed to the screenwriter or best boy. Prior to the auteurification of discourse, pre-60s classical Hollywood cinema was marked as risk-averse, and ultimately cookie-cutter, favouring moral clarity and conventional structure typically. The death of the studio system, and rising industry stars such as Hitchcock, brought a potential new path to profit for the producers, giving copious amounts of money to one guy, emphasis on guy, to put his sick, depraved perspectives on screen in the form of cinema. Now this had many upsides. An individual auteur's perspective brought with it a kind of authenticity that connected with the audience, unconventional structure prior unseen, and a new marketing option in the form of promoting these visionaries. However, giving millions of dollars to frizzy-head college dropouts predictably also brought with it a degree of risk. For every Apocalypse Now an auteur released, there was a Heaven's Gate. A film that cost $169 million, killed a film studio, and was described by noted film critic Roger Ebert as the most scandalous cinematic waste he's ever seen. So as stated, there was a teensy bit of risk. Now studios are in a kerfuffle. Auteurs can make back 100 times the budget provided, or they can destroy your entire company. How do you maintain authenticity whilst minimising the chance of failure? If anyone has the answer, please provide, as they didn't figure it out. Terry Gilliam is many things. But for the purposes of this essay, you and me will just know him as a director. His film, Brazil, was simultaneously a perfect fit for the studio system and a massive risk. Both an action comedy where the hero fights evil and gets the girl, whilst also being a cynical anti-capitalist work that subverts traditional narrative in favour of frankly mean-spirited outcome. Universal head, Sid Sheinberg, saw the film's promise. Having recently championed a young Steven Spielberg's crazy new film, Jaws, he was now aware of the financial dividends auteurs could provide, and he spied a new summer hit in the form of Gilliam's Brazil. But the film had problems, as stated. It was too cynical, its runtime was too long, it was too British. Side note, for some reason this was a reoccurring problem in the 80s for American film executives, okay. But it was not too late. Just a few years prior, Ridley Scott's obscure little film Blade Runner had needed intense editing to conform to test audience feedback. And those same test audiences only heightened Sid's anxiety regarding Brazil, echoing the exact concerns prior listed. Now, since Sid was incapable of making Gilliam not British, he elected instead to correct the former two issues, demanding changes to the film that the director was vocally against. A wide variety of subterfuge and ego-busting occurred. At one point, Gilliam was referred to as a terrorist! But that very interesting story will have to wait for another day, as that's not what I'm discussing. The film was edited with a new ending, in which the hero saves the day, disparagingly referred to as the love conquers all ending. And the main feedback the ending got from wider critics was that the film had been ruined by the changes. Universal caved and released it with the unsullied edit that Gilliam had desired. The critics applauded it, the Academy nominated it, and it made $9 million at the box office on a budget of $16 million. Oh, that's a shame. So what does this all mean? What was the point of this protracted rant? The truth is that despite initial appearances, Brazil was never going to have mainstream appeal, as much as the story beats might indicate otherwise. Film is so often an uncalculated gamble and a charismatic figurehead's unfettered vision. And that vision has a tendency to be messy and difficult to categorise. Maybe in the end trying to force hyper-cynical satire into the mould of a summer blockbuster, a mould it simply could not fit in, was a greater tragedy than the film's ultimate financial failure. No one in the creative industry is really in control. Not the director, nor the studio. Surefire success, tried and true formulas, they can quickly become flops in the amorphous, ever-changing sea of public sentiment. And ultimately, the only true way to even have a shot at a payout is to keep putting money into the slot machine. Surely this time will work. Maybe this time. 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 Maybe this time.